Hello, I'm Mark.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about Hardware 3, Hardware 4, and how it relates to FSD. But first,
Hardware
Casey's
3?
going to roll this title.
Yeah. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your Hardware 3 is? Like 20 here, but you know.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Well, since Casey just informed us it's 10 p.m., we've really got to speed up this show because I was not aware it was that late. But
Daylight savings times really messed stuff up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So today, Patrick has got a new story that was released on his site, carswithcords.net, and he's going to talk a little bit about Hardware 3, Hardware 4, and how it relates to FSD. Patrick, take it away.
Yes. Well, one of the things, when I'm talking about the stories that I've written here, I like to give the discussion something for the Tesla lifers that is just beyond just summarizing what I've written. I like to give the story behind the story, so you guys get the inside scoop. And I was listening to a podcast about autonomous vehicles, and I don't want to say which one because I don't want to give them any sort of plug. And one of the well-known Tesla haters on their show said something like, Tesla has 3 million Hardware 3 vehicles out there. These cars were sold as FSD ready, and it doesn't look like they're really going to be capable of FSD. So that's 3 million lawsuits or 3 million retrofits that Tesla's going to have to do, and they're going to have to pay for. And that's going to break the bank, and it's going to be the downfall for Tesla. And that I was like, what? Okay, let's think about this. So I started digging into it, and I wanted to figure out if he was right. And let's check the facts. So Tesla made Hardware 3 vehicles from 2019 through 2022. They did make about 3 million vehicles. And you can even add the Hardware 2 and 2.5 vehicles to that list that were sold with similar promises. That total actually is about 3.5 million vehicles. Oh, no, it's even worse than he said. Right. The world's ending. Sell. No. So is this an anchor that's going to drag Tesla down, as the podcaster suggested? Well, the short answer is no. Why do I say it's no? Out of those 3.5 million vehicles, only about 230,000 or so actually have FSD subscriptions or purchases. And that's a much more manageable retrofit. In fact, we've already seen Tesla upgrading Hardware 2, 2.5 vehicles to Hardware 3. And that wasn't a big deal. It didn't break the bank. Casey's already got that upgrade. Yeah, there you go. In that picture, that vehicle's been upgraded, and so has my 2018 Model 3. So, that wasn't some big deal. And then the second reason I think it's not a big problem and actually is a big benefit for Tesla. Let's go through that one. Once FSD is solved, Tesla has committed to making sure that Hardware 3 vehicle owners get what was promised. We heard this on the last quarterly call. They said they're going to make it right. They're doing a 14 Lite version. And if when autonomy is solved, it doesn't work on Hardware 3, they will do upgrades. So, and we just talked about how it's 200,000 vehicles or so. And those are people that have already paid for it. The way that the accounting works, they can't recognize all of the revenue for FSD until they've delivered FSD. And as they delivered incremental features, they could recognize part of it. So they will, when they finally deliver full FSD for those vehicles, they'll be able to recognize that revenue. So that actually helps pay for the upgrades, as well as let's do an example. Let's say that Mark, what year, make, model is your vehicle?
2018.
A 2018 Model 3. And okay, so let's say that it's 2027 and FSD is solved. So and it's working great. And you've done some unsupervised FSD test rides and you love it and you really, really want it, but you haven't purchased it. Well, we already know that the price for FSD is going to go up.
Yep.
And so in this example, I know you just talked about on the show Wednesday that you probably won't buy FSD. But for this example, let's say you now you're so convinced it's awesome, it's great. You'll be able to just let it drive you, and you've got to have it. And it's now Tesla's raised the price, and let's say it's 25K Canadian for you. Do you think that 25K would pay for a new FSD computer and maybe even new cameras if you needed it? Easily. And then have some additional profit for Tesla. And that's true for every one of those FSD 2, 2.5, 3 vehicles that have not already purchased FSD. They are, a lot of people, once they see it working, are going to want it. And they're going to be able to get it on these older vehicles if they pay for it, and that would include these upgrades. So now, all of a sudden, the adoption rate that Tesla has on FSD goes from the 9 to 12% that they have today to, who knows, 30% the year after it's all, 40% the year after that, 80% eventually. Because if you can buy a car that has full chauffeur capabilities and can go park itself and pick you up at the door, and why wouldn't you want that? If you can own it yourself. And then they've talked about the ability for owners to put their vehicle into the Tesla robotaxi network. So if you say, hey, FSD is too expensive, but it can earn me money, so maybe that is enough to pay for the additional funds that you would need to be able to buy FSD. And then when you are using the vehicle yourself, you get the benefit effectively for free if you can offset that cost. So I actually think those 3 million vehicles are a huge upside for Tesla once they solve FSD. Not a downside, not an anchor. And so that's the short version. Actually, this was one of my longer articles. If you want to go check it out at carswithcords.net, I go in, there's graphs, and I include scrappage rates and all kinds of other stuff that's in there that you can dig into the details. So in the comments down below, let me know, is the unnamed podcaster right, or am I right? And what do you guys think, Mark and Casey?
Yeah, so one thing you touched on there with the price will go back up again. For most of the life of my car, FSD has cost new consumers less than I paid for it. But not all of it, because there were periods where it was, obviously when I bought it, everybody was paying the same as me, and there was a time where there was like $12,000 or $15,000 it got up to.
Yes,
it will get back there, I promise you. But
yes, exactly, it will be going up. I know Musk talked about appreciating assets, and he's gotten a lot of crap for it. But I could see, like, okay, Mark, what do you think your car will be worth in 2027 if you were just to sell it and if FSD never happens? I mean, you could look at Kelly Blue Book.
$8,000.
Right.
I was going to say 10, but yeah.
If, on the other hand, it's FSD capable and that costs $20,000, and you have this thing that can earn you money, all of a sudden, if you could buy a car today that had FSD already paid for, that the prices, it will appreciate at some point. If FSD is truly solved and it's already in there and capable, that's going to set a floor on how low that vehicle will go.
I would agree.
You might have a reset, a bump, but yeah.
Especially if FSD is transferable. That's the other thing I talk about in the article that I didn't mention here is transferability.
If it stays transferable, then yeah, that's definitely going to add some price to the car that won't ever go away. But what I see, just because of the way business works, I see it resetting where the floor is. So like say his car's 8 and mine is 17 or whatever they unsolicitedly spraying at me. Musk has said about people shouting numbers for your business.
Right. That was Warren Buffett, right? Yeah.
I guess Warren said it too, but Musk has said it a couple times. I would expect it to go from the 17 to like 25, 30, and that would be the new floor. Then maybe not a little bit higher than that if I could transfer it should something happen to it. I think that this one also might have a little bit of a leg up in that all the closures except for the frunk are, well, as far as Tesla knows, all the closures except the frunk are power. So it has a little bit of that robotaxi already in it that the new cars don't have.
Yeah, you're talking about your X, right?
Yeah, the X.
Yeah. Power doors are definitely a great thing for robotaxi readiness.
Yeah.
And Patrick, you said that about 3.5 million vehicles fall into that version 3 or 2.5 or 2. Take rate is about what, 7%?
9 to 12. So most recently they said 12, but then in 2022 when they said they had 228,000 of the vehicles they sold, then it was about 9%. So it's in that high single digit, low double digit range.
So on this, whenever it finally comes to be as prophesized or promised or sold or whatever, will we be the discount fleet because our cars don't have any of the new stuff like the double laminated glass, the rear infotainment,
Power trunk.
I've got a power trunk. Oh, you don't?
I don't. Patrick doesn't.
Nope. Manual.
Power frunk doesn't exist.
Well, only Cybertruck officially has that one.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're right. There does come like if there's a lack of vehicles in a certain area for robotaxi, then you'll be fine. But if there's an overabundance of vehicles and those vehicles are newer or more modern than yours, you could be, put back in the line a little bit.
Yeah. We need to bring 6 people, 7 people. Oh, hey, we've got just the thing for you. It's vintage.
Yeah, but even ignoring the robotaxi capabilities, I think it still works out that it's going to be higher demand and people are going to be willing to pay for it, and that will more than cover the retrofit costs. Or as we just talked about transfers, a lot of people are going to just if they bought it on their Model 3. Well, this is what I did.
You were one of the transfers. That probably
exactly, yeah. Yeah, so I transferred from hardware 3 vehicle. Actually, it was 2.5 in 2018. We got the free upgrade on the Model 3. And then, so that gave us a new FSD computer in there. And now I transferred it to a hardware 4 vehicle. So it's no longer a problem for Tesla, for me, because we transferred FSD off of that old vehicle. And it's really hard to find data on how many people have transferred. I mean, obviously in 2022, they were all hardware 3 vehicles if they were FSD purchases. But how many of those people have moved to hardware 4? So it could even be lower than that. So it was 220,000, say half the people have moved. And now in 2027, in my example of when it's solved, say half of them move again because Tesla offers some deal for, hey, if you purchased FSD, we will give you $2,000 off if you buy a new vehicle now. So this is going to be a car that's 7-8 years old, and you're getting a discount on the new one. You get to transfer your FSD, which is now $25,000 or whatever the price is going to be at that time. So you're getting this huge value, a new vehicle that has the ambient lighting and better suspension, smoother ride, faster acceleration, power tailgates, whatever it is that you don't have on your older Tesla. That sounds like a sweet deal. So I think that lowers the number even more, and say it halves it again. So now you're down to 50,000 cars, and that's going to be no problem for their massive service center.
Yeah, and even like you said, even if it is 50,000, the cost of upgrading is they're going to be able to recoup some of the money for FSD that's being held. So that's going to fuel some of the retrofits.
Exactly.
All right, sir.
And if anyone's jumping in because they notice that FSD is so much better now, when they didn't buy it, then they're going to pay a higher price anyways, and that will certainly cover that car's conversion and probably a couple others as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sir, you're the last holdout with a vintage car. If you would just kindly step over here. Here's a free Model X. Just give us that jalopy.
Yeah, and Tesla's margins would just start skyrocketing, because if they're able to sell $20,000 or more worth of software with every vehicle that they sell, or at least half the vehicles they sell, they go from 15% margins to software margins, and a blended average that's going to be much better.
Yeah, we've seen them sit there at 30% for months on end, so they're able to deal with it. So this will just put them comfortably there.
Yeah. So I'm glad that it's funny because this podcaster I was listening to was so confident he knew his stuff about when they produced and what. So all of his facts were right on, and I'm like, wow, he said that really confidently. Hey,
Yeah, the numbers, but not the story, the feel.
Exactly. Yes. Correct information, absolutely wrong conclusion.
So the other question is, are you anonymously going to send him a link to your story and just send it along?
I might try that. Yeah.
Because he's got to know that there's another viewpoint that he's completely missed.
Yeah, this guy's full of crap. What do you think?
He makes his living being a Tesla hater, so it doesn't matter how convincing my argument is.
Really, there's no convincing someone like that typically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting. And as we said, there will be a link in the notes for the show for Patrick's website to visit it. And of course, you can comment right there or here, whatever works for you. Love to see what you think out there. Does Patrick's argument ring true, or does he have some holes? Let us know what you think in the comments. That would be great.
Yeah, I'm going to steal Brian White's line. What did I miss? What I misunderstand?
Exactly. With that said, let's go to some shout outs. Casey, what do you got for us?
Well, catch us on Sunday over at youtube.com/Casey Green or x.com/gcustom for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. And then we'll see you back here next week for the Tesla Life Express Part 2, or Edition 2.
Very good. Patrick, what do you got for us?
Thanks for letting me cover the story. And in the comments, throw in who you think this anonymous podcaster is, if you have a guess. Because you might be able to figure it out.
Have we spoken with him before on air?
That would be way too much of a hint.
Well, we'll leave that then. With that said, join with us next week, and together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla life.